Welcome back. In our last episode, we saw how the U.S. Constitution laid the groundwork for a new government. But the early years of the United States were filled with challenges. From internal rebellions to growing tensions with foreign powers, the young nation struggled to find its place on the world stage. Today, we'll explore the Whiskey Rebellion, the rise of America's first political parties, and the country's first major foreign conflict, the War of 1812. Our story begins in the early 1790s, just after George Washington became the first president of the United States. To pay off the debt from the Revolutionary War, Treasury Secretary Alexander Hamilton proposed a tax on whiskey. But for many farmers on the western frontier, whiskey wasn't just a drink, it was a form of currency. The Whiskey Rebellion in 1794 became the first test of the new government's authority. Farmers in western Pennsylvania were furious, refusing to pay the tax, and violent protests broke out. President Washington responded by assembling a federal militia of 13,000 men and personally led them toward the rebellion. This decisive action sent a clear message: the new federal government had the power to enforce its laws. The Whiskey Rebellion was quickly subdued without major bloodshed, but it showed the importance of a strong central government. However, it also deepened divisions within the country, particularly between those who supported Hamilton's vision of a strong federal government and those who favored more power for the states. These divisions led to the formation of America's first political parties. On one side were the Federalists, led by Hamilton, who believed in a strong national government and close ties with Britain. On the other side were the Democratic Republicans, led by Thomas Jefferson and James Madison, who favored states' rights and closer relations with France. This rivalry between Hamilton and Jefferson would shape the political landscape of the early United States. Tension between these two factions came to a head in the election of 1800, often called the Revolution of 1800. After a bitter contest, Thomas Jefferson became the third president of the United States, marking the first peaceful transfer of power between political parties in American history. Jefferson's presidency saw the U.S. double in size with the Louisiana Purchase in 1803, when America bought a vast territory from France, stretching from the Mississippi River to the Rocky Mountains. This opened up new opportunities but also brought new challenges, especially in managing relations with Native American tribes and European powers. However, Jefferson's presidency and that of his successor, James Madison, were marred by growing tensions with Great Britain. The British were engaged in a war with France and began seizing American ships and forcing U.S. sailors into their navy, a practice known as impressment. This, combined with British support for Native American resistance against American expansion, led to growing calls for war. In 1812, the United States declared war on Britain in what became known as the War of 1812. Often called America's Second War of Independence. The War of 1812 was fought to defend the young nation's sovereignty and prove that the U.S. was here to stay. Despite early setbacks, including the burning of Washington, D.C., in 1814, the Americans won several key victories. The Battle of Lake Erie secured control of the Great Lakes, and General Andrew Jackson became a national hero after his victory at the Battle of New Orleans, though ironically, the battle was fought after the war had technically ended. The war officially ended with the Treaty of Ghent in December 1814. While there were no clear territorial changes, the war established the United States as a force to be reckoned with. It also boosted national pride and unity, giving rise to what became known as the Era of Good Feelings. The War of 1812 was a defining moment in America's early history. It confirmed the nation's independence from Britain and set the stage for further expansion and growth. Over the next decades, the U.S. would experience rapid changes from the Industrial Revolution to territorial expansion, leading to new challenges and opportunities. The early years of the United States were filled with trials, but each challenge only made the nation stronger. In our next episode, we'll explore the era of westward expansion, the Monroe Doctrine, and how America's identity continued to evolve in the 19th century. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next episode, where we'll dive into Manifest Destiny, the acquisition of new territories, and the rise of sectional conflicts leading to the Civil War. See you next time.